Hello and welcome back to Level Up with Loraine. I am your host, Loraine, and I'm so pumped to be back here on this fine Thursday chatting to you. So today, I want to talk about your personal board of advisors, which I truly believe is the key to unlocking your next level. Now, the channel is called Level Up with Loraine. So naturally, I will always come to you sharing things that I believe will unlock your personal development success, your career development success, success in relationships, with families, with friends, etc. And so today we are talking about your personal board of advisors. So think of your life and career like a company, right? You wouldn't run a business without advisors. You wouldn't just go straight to the deep end without consulting one or two or three or four or five people in this case, how to go about it and how to strategically, win in that business. So this is the same thing. You wouldn't run a business without advisors. So why would you go through life without a strategic team supporting your growth? And Oprah Winfrey is well known for saying, surround yourself only with people who are going to take you higher. And there's also a famous saying or quote that you are the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. And Jim Rohn said this. So let's talk about those 5 people. That's what this episode is about. If you had to do life with only 5 people other than your family, you only could do life with only 5 people. Today, I have the list of what those 5 need to look like. So grab a drink of your choice, sit back, and let's get into it. So a key thing here is that your personal board ensures that you get guidance, perspective, and challenges that you keep growing. So I'm going to dive straight into these 5 key roles on your board. And the first one is the mentor, your guide. Now, we hear a lot of people saying, I have a mentor, or we are typically, encouraged to all have mentors in life, in business, for careers, etc. So what is a mentor? And a mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself. I love that because this is someone who's typically has already achieved what you're working towards. You already see what you want for yourself in them, and they can help you avoid the pitfalls along the way. And, a famous example is Sheryl Sandberg. A lot of you may know her or have read her books. She joined Google early in her career, and she was mentored by this guy who was the then CEO of Google. And his advice was, if you're offered a seat on a rocket ship, don't ask what seat. Just get on it, right? Just get on the rocket ship. So think of your mentor as the rocket ship. Think of your mentor as the person who's going to help you get a level higher. Maybe you have an older cousin or a former boss who's been where you're trying to go. They don't just give you advice. They offer shortcuts. They connect you to the right people. They say your name in rooms you don't even have access to. And they share hard-earned lessons. And so it's so important for each and every one of us to have a mentor in life. And I've had 1-2 very good career mentors in my life. I haven't quite had a life mentor. I think it would be equally important. But I think if you know where you're trying to go and you know someone or you recognize someone who's paved that path, made the gains and reached that destination, and you look up to them, it would be wise and smart to make sure that you have a seat on that rocket ship, right? And you have a seat at that person's table and you're able to speak to them. So that's the first role on your board. So the second role, board advisor number 2, is the peer challenger, the one who pushes you. This is the friend or colleague who doesn't let you settle. They push you when you're slacking and remind you of your goals. So think of an accountability partner. Think of that friend that you've opened up to, that knows you, the desires of your heart, that knows your goals and what you're working towards, and they're able to really hold you accountable and help you meet those goals, right? They cut you no slack when you are falling short, when you're not being consistent, when you're falling short on your word, they're able to hold you accountable. You know, I'm a Christian girl, and Proverbs 27 verse 17 says, iron sharpens iron. So one person sharpens another. And you need to make sure that someone on your board is iron, right? Because you are trying to become iron, and iron sharpens iron, right? And you need to be able to surround yourself with people who are also ambitious, who are also hungry, and they want the best for you. A famous example, because I'm into these, is Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. I'm obsessed with the two, and I was watching a Netflix documentary the other day with my husband, and you know, they had this dynamic. Kobe constantly studied Jordan's game, and he says Jordan's challenged him to be better and even sought direct mentorship from Jordan. And that's what you want. You want friends that really push you, that you can look to, that, you know, you can learn from, whether it's a colleague, whether it's really one of your dear friends. And I know it's really hard in today's world. A lot of people struggle to have authentic friendships because the truth is people want to see you do well, but they don't want to see you do better than them. Ooh, yep, right. You know those friends who were okay with you, or colleagues who were okay with you when you were still an entry-level employee, or when you were still just, you know, kind of below them in quotes. And as soon as you start to make strides, they get uncomfortable. You know, I know you know them, right? We all know someone like that. And so you don't want to have people like that in your circle. You don't, because they will constantly be trying to bring you down. And so think about that workout partner who holds you accountable, who won't let you quit gym early, or the friend who calls you out when you're making excuses about why you haven't started that business yet, because they know you want to start that business and they're wondering why the heck you haven't started it. That friend, those are the people you want in your circle. Identify someone in your circle who challenges you. If you don't have one, find a mastermind group, an accountability partner, or even a competitive friend who inspires you. Healthy competition, obviously. And so that's board member number 2, the peer challenger. Let's move on to number 3, and that's the sponsor, the door opener. And that person is, they're similar to a mentor, but unlike a mentor who gives advice, a sponsor actively creates opportunities for you. So this is someone that really actually introduces you to the right people. They advocate for you, again, in rooms that you don't have access to, but they're actively trying to really, catapult you into the next level. And it's not what you know, it's who you know. This is a famous proverb. It's about who you know. So make sure that in your circle, you have a sponsor. You have someone who can actually open doors for you, right? And again, another famous example, if you think of Oprah Winfrey, Maya Angelou was her sponsor, introducing her to influential circles and amplifying her work. As much as she was a mentor, she was also a sponsor. Maybe it's your former boss, again, who recommended you for a promotion, or a professor who introduced you to a life-changing internship. A sponsor doesn't just believe in you, they take action to help you succeed. One of my first mentors, when I started working at Allen Gray, her name was Lele. She was the head of HR. And, I was fresh out of varsity. But when we met, she just fell in love with me. She told me I was refreshingly different, and we just got on so well. And I didn't have any work experience, but what she did was say, listen, I don't have a role in HR yet, but what I can do is put you in a department where they're currently hiring entry-level employees. You can come in, learn the business, and as soon as something comes up in HR at your level, I will make sure you get in because you already have a foot in the door. Do you know what kind of person it takes to do that for you? It's not just a mentor. It's a sponsor. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about sponsorship, right? Because it means she needed to sit in certain rooms and bring up my name to people in those rooms and say, listen, I think Law, the girl who's an ops consultant in the operations department, can actually become an HRBP in the HR department. You know what I mean? So who has opened doors for you? How can you nurture that relationship and in turn help others when you're in a position to? And I think that part is also important. How do you give back? It's not just about take. It's a give and take relationship. So you also want to be able to add value to not just these people, not just the mentors and the sponsors, but also someone else. Yeah, because we rise by lifting others. So that's your board advisor, number 3. Let's move on to number 4, the truth teller, the one who keeps you honest. How many of you can say you have friends that tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing else but the truth, right? This is the person who calls you out when you need to hear the truth. They don't walk on eggshells around you. They're not trying to, spoon feed you or babysit you. They love you so much that they give you honest feedback, not just what you want to hear. So, a famous saying by William Arthur Ward, flatter me and I may not believe you, criticize me and I may not like you, ignore me and I may not forgive you, encourage me and I will not forget you. People will never forget you for how you make them feel and how you encourage them and how you speak into their lives. And so, again, honesty is important for you to grow. Who in your circle can you say is honest? Even when you're being a crappy person, they're able to look you in the eye and say, you were wrong, or you could have done this better. And you trust them enough to know it's coming from a good place, that they're not spiteful, right? So maybe it's your best friend who tells you when you're not acting like yourself, or that one co-worker who keeps you accountable when you say, I'll start that side hustle next month, and you haven't. And they keep you true to your word. I want to encourage you, make sure you have someone in your circle who keeps it real with you, even when it's uncomfortable. The very last person on your board is the wild card. I call it the wild card because they have an unexpected perspective, right? They come from left field. You don't see them coming, and they're able to probe and poke holes and make you see things differently. This person comes from a completely different background, industry, and way of thinking. They offer insights you wouldn't have considered otherwise. So maybe it's your artist friend who gives you fresh ideas on creativity, even though you work in finance or in HR. Or it's the tech-savvy cousin who helps you think about the digital strategy for your business. Whatever it is, surround yourself with people who come from different backgrounds than yourself. It's so important to have diverse people in your circle because that brings diversity of thought. It garners and fosters innovation and fresh perspectives. You need that, right? You never know when your next breakthrough is coming or where it will come from. And so you want to make sure that you diversify that board of advisors. So how do you find and cultivate these relationships? Well, firstly, be intentional. Don't just rely on the people who happen to be around. You have to be intentional. You have to network. You have to go put yourself out there. I think one of the things that I have learned even with doing this podcast is I'm putting myself out there. It's not easy, right? It's hard, but I know what I want. I know what my goal with all of this is. And again, you need to be intentional in everything that you do. And so I'm saying to you, be intentional. If you want to build this solid, robust group of 5 personal advisors, be intentional, go out, speak to people, assess your current circle, weed out the ones that don't fit the bill, and really hone into the relationships that matter, that will add value. So instead of asking, will you be my mentor to someone, start with genuine curiosity. Ask them questions. How did you start out? How did you get here? What were the key lessons? What could you have done differently? People love people who are curious, right? Who ask the right questions, who are genuinely interested, and who are all engaging in value-driven conversations. And it's not just to tick that box of, oh, now I have a mentor. And relationships are a two-way street. Like I said earlier, it's give and take. So you need to bring something to the table. whether it's insights, connections, or support, right? They need to see you as valuable, because all you can do is really sell your value and showcase your value for them to be able to be useful to you. And how to actually use your board: schedule regular check-ins, monthly, quarterly, informal coffee chats. And if it's a friend, be intentional with that friendship. Make sure you are plugged into each other's lives. You share with them your vision board, your plans for the year. If they're your prayer partner, make sure those prayer requests, they have them on their list, and they can hold you accountable to, you said you wanted to start this business. Where we at? You said you wanted to be consistent with the podcast. You missed last week. I have a few of those. So you want to make sure that you are actually plugged in and you have regular check-ins, and ask the right questions. What would you do differently in my position? What blind spots do you think I have that I'm not seeing? What should I do differently? Have vulnerable, honest, authentic conversations if you want to be successful. Create a safe space for people to be able to give you feedback. And final thought, building a personal board of advisors is one of the most powerful ways to level up. You don't have to navigate success alone. Surround yourself with the right people, and they'll help you unlock the next stage of your growth. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. And that's Helen Keller. I had so much fun putting this together for you. Please let me know your thoughts. Do you think we should add more advisors to this circle? Should there be a 6th, a 7th, an 8th one, or is 5 just right? I'm keen to hear your thoughts and your feedback. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends, with your connections, with your networks. Until next time, continue to level up.